Sawadee Gop. Alright, we got the last tech tool. I read off a bunch yesterday. Zobni, which is inbox backwards, and Jot for emailing without entering the black hole of the inbox. Time Driver, Doodle, Grand Central, Umail, and the big one was the Evernote. Once again, I haven't checked to see if those are still live, but if they're not, I'm sure there's a replacement for them. Last one, preventing web browsing completely. Well, that's a kind of drastic measure, isn't it? and just, once again, we got to ask, what about self-control? Tim's a genius. Tim knows people, and he feels like most people need these tools. So, what do I know? If you need them, you need them. They're here for you. Freedom. iBiblio.org/Fred/freedom. That's an interesting one. All the rest are, jot.com. This is not freedom.com. I guess that was taken by somebody or something. So you got to go see Fred if you want this app. iBiblio.org/Fred, FRED/freedom. Freedom is a free application that disables networking on an Apple computer for 1 to 480 minutes, up to 8 hours at a time. Freedom will free you from distractions of the internet, allowing you to focus to get real work done. Freedom enforces freedom. A reboot is the only method for turning freedom off. Wow. Before the time limit you've set for yourself. The hassle of rebooting means you're less likely to cheat, and you'll be more productive. Experiment with this software for short periods of time, first 30 to 60 minutes. Like I said, maybe if you chart your time, you got to write everything down. So if you do a log of what you eat, you do a log of what you spend, and you do a log, a recording of how much time you spend on social media, Facebook, whatever, you'll see if you have a problem. You'll see where you can, right away, you'll see where you can get better at each of those things, including, time on the internet / social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever your vice might be. Comfort challenge. Okay, so we're at the end of another chapter here. Revisit the terrible twos for 2 days. For the next 2 days, do as all good 2-year-olds do and say no to all requests. Okay, I never had a kid. I wasn't familiar with the terrible twos, but apparently they're big at saying no, no matter what you ask them to do. I would just trick fuck them. They're 2 years old, and say, okay, let's not eat. No, I want to eat. Okay, you got them to eat, which is what you want to do. Let's not have our vegetables. No, I want to have my vegetables. Right on, brother. Be smarter than the 2-year-old? I don't know. That's just me free balling there. Anyway, don't be selective. Refuse to do all things that won't get you immediately fired. Be selfish. As with the last exercise, the objective isn't an outcome. In this case, eliminating just those things that waste time, but the process getting comfortable with saying no. Potential questions to decline include the following. Do you have a minute? No. I get where this is being a little dickish, but once again, he has a purpose. He has a point. Want to see a movie tomorrow? No. Can you help me with X? No. No should be your default answer to all requests. Don't make up elaborate lies or you'll get called on them. A simple, I really can't, sorry, I've got too much on my plate right now, will do as a catch-all response. You're busy. Yeah. People will know that you're bullshitting them, because the more they know you, the more they'll know that you're not busy, but whatever. It's all good. Batching tool, P.O. Box. This might be stating the obvious, but one easy way to encourage batching of your mail is to use a P.O. box versus getting mail delivered to your house. We got our P.O. box to limit access to our physical address online, but it also encourages you to get the mail less and deal with it in batch. Our post office has recycling bins, so at least 60% of the mail doesn't even come home with us. For a while, I was only getting and managing the mail once a week, and I found Not only did it take less time overall, I did a better job managing it and getting it out of the way versus looking at it and setting it aside for future follow-up. Laura Turner. Yeah, I had a bunch of mail. I had an F-150 pickup truck. I talked about it a couple of times because I bought the Ranger here, which is a big truck for Thailand, but I had a big truck for America. F-150 extended cab with the longer bed. You had an option of getting a 4.5-foot bed with the extended cab or a 5.5-foot bed. And whoever ordered that truck, I bought it used. Went for the 5.5-foot bed. That thing was fucking massive. It was long. It was big. It was huge. And I would get in the habit of getting my mail at the little metal thing at the end of my road. They didn't have mailbox in front of the houses on my street. It was one of those little, consolidated ones where you just get a little slot with a key. And I would throw it in my truck for later. And I wound up filling a half of a giant garbage can, like an outdoor, like a big recycle bin sized garbage can. I filled it up with mail that I had never opened or looked at. Just threw it in the back of the truck, threw it in the back of the truck, threw it in the back of the truck. And at some point I was like, okay, I need to purge this. I took some agents out to lunch, and they had to sit in the back and put their feet on top of, a pile of junk mail. So I finally cleaned out the truck, and it was literally a half of a garbage can, big garbage can full of mail. So there you go. It is worthless stuff. So for families, the 4-hour work week doesn't have to mean 4 months on a sailboat in the Caribbean, unless that's their dream. But even the simple idea of having time to take a walk in the park every evening or spending weekends together makes taking actions to implement this program worthwhile. There are many different approaches for making this work. Kids have to promise they won't bother mommy in the evening while she works on the computer. The husband watches the kids in the evening. Both parents make plans once a week to have someone take care of the kids, etc. Then close with the huge payoff for the family of having more time to spend with each other. Adrian Jenkins. So once again, this is the 2009 updated version. The original book had been out for 2 years, and these were readers saying, hey, I applied your steps and tips and tips and techniques this way. So like she's saying, you don't have to go all in. It doesn't mean a month in the Caribbean. That's not reality for a lot of people. That's not a dream for a lot of people. They just simply wanted to spend more time with their kids. So they got it done using these techniques. Why not combine a mini retirement with dentistry or medical? Geoarbitrage. Now they're talking Thailand. A lot of the tourists who come here to get the relatively cheap medical services. They're excellent. They're Western standards, world-class standards of medicine here and healthcare at 10 to 20% of the price of the same treatment in the West. I lived in Thailand for 4 months. There you go. I think it might be the #1 medical trip destination. And got root canal treatment and a crown for 1/3 of the price that it costs in Australia, and probably 1/5 of the price it cost in America. There are many upmarket clinics set up for expats and health travelers in Thailand. Philippines, Vietnam, Goa. I don't even know where the hell Goa is, etc., with English-speaking dentists. And in Europe, many people go to Poland or Hungary. To research, just Google dentist and the country, and you will come across practices advertising to foreigners. Talk to expats when you're in the country or online chat forums for recommendations. Now I'm in Australia. I still combine my travels with annual dentist checkups, and the savings often finance my airfare. Yeah, there you go. Even between developed countries, there are significant cost differences. For example, France is far cheaper than the UK, and Australia is cheaper than the US. That's what we figured. Note from Tim: learn more about the incredible world of medical tourism and geo-arbitrage at http://en.wikipedia.org wiki/medical tourism. There you go. So if you just Google medical tourism, I'm sure that wiki site would come up, the Wikipedia site would come up. Even large insurers like Aetna often cover overseas treatments and surgeries. There you go, sent in by Anonymous, but Tim added the little note at the end about go check it out on Wikipedia. It's a thing. It's a big thing here. One of the reasons that I decided to retire here instead of Italy, like my original plan was the cost of healthcare. I had first-hand account from one of my buddies, an investor friend back in Jacksonville. And I think I've actually told that story on this channel in another video about his hip replacement 15 years ago. And it was literally 10% of the cost of the same exact surgery, hip replacement, in America. So why would you pay $70,000 US for surgery that you could come here and go to a modern, new, clean hospital with US trained doctors using the latest equipment, right? And the same, I mean, you get the same exact level of care, if not better, for 1/10 of the price. $7,000 is what he wound up paying for his hip replacement. And it's 15 years later, and he's walking and running and swimming, and you know, everything's fine. There was no problems whatsoever with his hip replacement because it was done well and professionally. And hell, right now in the U.S., I don't even know if you can, just because you have an operation done in the U.S. and you pay 70 grand for it, that doesn't guarantee it's going to be okay. You know, medical malpractice is a real thing. There's a lot of lawsuits out there where doctors in the U.S. cut corners or didn't know their shit or were lazy or drugged or drunk or whatever. So just because you pay a lot of money for an operation doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be done well. Here, it was done very well for literally 10%. That's a huge difference, 90% off. So even counting the cost of the flight over here, he still made out like a bandit. And oh, by the way, he got to spend whatever, 3 weeks or a month or whatever in Thailand, which is friggin' gorgeous. So that's the deal, guys. It's a real thing. Medical tourism, and once again, the reduced cost of healthcare. I'm 58 now. I just had a birthday last week. 58. I was 57 all last year. Now I'm 58. You're getting closer and closer to 60, which is, mind-numbing or unbelievable to me. But anyway, healthcare is a real thing as you get older. You're gonna need it. And never mind, I had 2 heart attacks in America, so I had to see a doctor on the regular to check up, make sure everything's okay with my heart, get my medication, all that stuff. But just in general, your body starts falling apart at this age, especially if you've abused it like I have with mine. So yeah, definitely one of the major factors that made me move to Thailand was the low cost of quality medical care.